Let's get more insight on this with Jeff Stacey. He's a former U.S. State Department official. Jeff, welcome to the program. How important is this St. Petersburg International Economic Forum for Moscow in terms of bringing businesses and investment at a time Russia's economy is really struggling?
Right, it's suffering under sanctions, and not just from the U.S., but from Europe. And there have been protests in the past in Moscow. The middle class there has shrunken under the sanctions, and the fact that global commodities like oil have not really made up for that over time. So you see a double move here, really, by the Russians because of the difficulties with the Trump administration. I mean, Putin gets along with Trump, but the rest of the U.S. foreign policy establishment, the story is different. And now we're looking at a presidential race where all the top Democratic candidates beat Trump head-to-head. So both countries, China and Russia, are really hedging, exploring each other, checking out possibilities, especially after the military exercise not long ago. It's interesting. We're going to have to see what happens, although there's still a fair amount of distrust there, but new relations are underway.
And how much has the United States, America First, protectionist policies really helped these countries forge even a much closer alliance?
That's absolutely the case. It's the catalyst for this. It's not a surprise at all to see them, at least symbolically, moving forward together. Of course, interests are another matter, and that will take longer. So we really need to watch what they do as opposed to what they say. But one usually follows the other. So we're in a new phase, really, here. And this has everything to do with the lack of progress under the Obama administration. There was unprecedented engagement when I was in the State Department of China. But things didn't progress very quickly because China thought that the U.S. was containing them, basically, that the pivot to Asia was really about containment of China. So we missed a lot of opportunities then. And now it's almost sort of being made up for with a really strong push from Trump. He's got Russia problems, so he has to really, in a way, almost psychologically take it out on another country, and China is bearing the brunt of that.
So how much do you think this close relationship between President Xi and President Putin and these types of conferences in St. Petersburg, you used to work at the State Department, how are things like that played in the United States, in Washington circles? Do they look at these things with mistrust, with skepticism?
I think with a tiny bit of skepticism, mostly a lot of interest, because for years and years, decades really, there have been discussions of will China and Russia eventually find enough converging in their core national security interests to do something for real and meaningful. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization has existed for a very long time, and most people have over-predicted a closeness between them. Now we're really going to see, and the ultimate test will be if Trump doesn't get reelected. What will the next president, say a President Biden, actually do? And there we'll see more of a normalization of how things really are, probably a little better with China-U.S. relations and a little tougher with Russia. So Xi knows this, and in a way he's already looking past this administration, but just in case, you've got a hedge. So these kind of get-togethers in Shanghai produce more trust. Elites have distrusted each other, China to Russia, for years. Now they're getting closer. It's all getting more and more interesting.
And very quickly, Jeff, if you had to guess, do you think at the end of the day we're going to have a trade deal between China and the United States?
I think so, because the two countries really need it. Those are core national interests. They will ultimately prevail here.
All right. Jeff Stacey, thank you so much.
Pleasure.